Welcome to my Week in Review, where I keep you up to date on my work for you and what's happening in the State Assembly. The first thing I'd like to tell you about is legislation I authored and introduced to create a Rochester housing court. Unfortunately, far too many Rochester residents are forced to contend with horrible, even dangerous living conditions. That's why this legislation is so important. The court would be modeled after ones that already exist in Buffalo and New York City. It would allow tenants the option to either seek court-ordered repairs or have the court put the building into public receivership if a landlord is unwilling to provide proper living conditions. I've heard story after story of tenants having to deal with a lack of heat and hot water, mold and collapsed ceilings, and that's got to end. Every New Yorker deserves a safe and warm place to call home. The Rochester Housing Court would help ensure that landlords and property management companies are held accountable and that tenants have a chance to make their voices heard. From protecting tenants to safeguarding our democracy, the work I do in Albany is extensive and goes from one issue area to the next. So next up, I'd like to share with you is my work on a bill I co-sponsored to allow boards of elections to hire college and university students as election inspectors. With senior citizens making up the majority of current inspectors, new recruitment is important so we're not left scrambling for inspectors come election time, and to encourage more young people to be involved. Making sure we have enough election inspectors helps the voting process run smoothly for everyone. This bill passed through committee and is now one step closer to being voted on by the full Assembly. Speaking of elections, the Assembly also passed legislation moving the date of the state primary election from Tuesday, September 11 to Thursday, September 13, out of respect for both the anniversary of the September 11 terrorist attacks and Rosh Hashanah. For some voters, the primary date would have interfered with observance of the Jewish New Year. Further, September 11th is a day of remembrance for those who tragically lost their lives, and brave firefighters, EMTs, and police officers, the first responders who showed us what it truly means to be an American. While voting on legislation is a big part of my job as your representative, I'm also tasked with attending hearings to listen to testimony from advocacy groups, agency representatives, union leaders, and many others to gain as much information as I can. Last week, I attended the Joint Legislative Human Services Budget hearing, where I asked questions on topics like the new proposed Office of Workforce Development. As chair of the Assembly Commission on Skills Development and Career Education, I'm focused on ensuring New York workers have the support they need to succeed. At the budget hearing, I got the chance to question Commissioner of the Department of Labor. I asked the Commissioner about the planned implementation of the Empire State Apprenticeship Program, which I helped create last year. We want to ensure businesses know about the program and are encouraged to apply. This program is critical in helping young people get the skills they need to land good jobs and stay close to home. These are just a few of the issues I've been working on in the Assembly this past week. For more information, please go to my Assembly webpage or check us out on Facebook. I'll be back next week with another update, so stay tuned.